What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So in today's video I'm going to be taking over and I'm pretty much going to be hosting it, and we're going to delve a little bit more into Adam, because Adam, you've just started your new channel.
I have.
And what we've decided to do is to try and create something which lets you know Adam more as a person, where he's been, why he's doing this and what he wants to achieve, so that you connect with him a bit more. And what this will also allow us to do is kind of give a good base for you to go on with your channel. Because obviously you did your first predictions video, watched it, loved it. You know, obviously things to work on.
Of
like,
course.
you know what I mean? Like, you don't go back and watch my first YouTube video. By the way, my YouTube channel's solid plug. Billy Smith Fitness. Go back and watch my first YouTube video. It's fucking horrendous.
Oh yeah, links will be
yeah. So we're gonna get straight into it. I'm just gonna be asking Adam a few questions, but it's gonna be quite relaxed. We're just gonna have a chat because, like I said, we want to get to know Adam as a person. I already know him very well, and I already know this is gonna be good. So I've got a few questions here. Let's get stuck into it. So the very first one, Adam. When did you first realise your love for football? Like, take it right back. Where did that initial love come from? Was there a specific moment? Was there, like, were you at a game? Was it, what was it?
I just went to my first game at 4 years old and just, I mean, it's tricky. I don't remember it as such, but I think you're just, that sort of adoration, I think it just comes naturally.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes it can just be that first time you set foot in a stadium and you're just in awe.
Yeah, can you remember what game it was?
For me. Hearts beat Livingston 2-1, December 2002.
That's what always amazes me. You remember every single day and every single detail.
Andy Kirk brace, I think. Yeah.
And
so that shows the caliber, the caliber and class that we had back then.
And who were you there with?
I was there with my dad, one of my granddads, two of my granddads.
Yeah.
Any male family member I think was literally taken along.
Yeah.
And just accompanied little Adam. And yeah, obviously my love for Hearts then started. I think, obviously, I'm called Adam because I'm named after Stefan Adam as well. So I had absolutely no choice in the matter whatsoever. Which I don't know if it's a pro or a con, but we'll see. Depending on what season, it's either a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, I know. All the stories you just tell me. So, like, I know it's a very long time ago, but maybe even years after that, what was like the specific things about football that got you so invested in it? Because I'm sure there's loads of really big football fans out there that have their own little things, but what is it about it that just grabs you so much?
I think I'd probably say sort of everybody that backs a particular team, even if it's like where you're from. Like when I'm watching Soccer Saturday in the afternoon and Jeff Stelling's hosting and he supports Hartlepool, like I just find that amazing. Like Hartlepool United probably never going to win a single thing in their puff, and yet Jeff is just so like clued up, just absolutely obsessed. Like you know the Hartlepool score rather than any other like major important other event. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I find folks' obsession with it just bonkers, and even I think it's that pride in where you come from.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
I think that's probably the biggest thing for me.
It connects a lot of people too. I think that's one of the reasons. Like, you know, if you go anywhere around the world and you can literally, a big thing that connects them is like, what team do you support? Or even like if you go and watch.
It's a conversation starter. No
yeah, exactly.
And I think even like your Eastern European countries, they are nuts. And being to Italy, I was lucky enough to go to Milan, and as soon as you set foot in the San Siro, you're like, Jesus, this is like the real deal. Yeah. And the Italians love their football. Like they're crazy. This boy, I thought he was going to have a heart attack after 10 minutes in front of me. This was at 0-0. Milan against Spal.
Yeah, but it is that passion for it, and like I say, you're a mega football fan. You're into it, but even like I'm more of like a general football fan because I haven't been to a game in years and stuff like that, so I don't class myself as anything like that. But the atmosphere and everything, it's definitely hard to fall in love with. And is it the atmosphere? Is it is it the connection with people that gets you going back year after year and things like that?
I'd say it's probably an accumulation of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think as a Hearts fan, this is going to offend some people. We're underachievers. No, we are. I just look at the Old Firm and they're just streets ahead. Yet Hearts are considered one of the biggest clubs in the country, I think a large part of that is even like opposing fans that just love coming to Tynecastle, and you can see why, because it just in that little cauldron.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
I went to one game at Tynecastle and it was fucking class. More so because we won. I'm a Rangers fan, by the way, so just get everyone hating me now. No, everyone can just hate me and we'll just leave you, right? But yeah, it is. There's a lot about football which brings people back, and I think it is amazing to see how much you love it. Like, I remember when we used to have chats in school, and even then you knew statistics. You were so invested in it.
Honestly, I've become engrossed in it. I don't know what it is. It's just what else would I rather do with my weekend?
Exactly.
But honestly, I just find it. I just love even something as daft as scrolling through live score and you're just seeing divisions, like looking at scores. I'm just like, oh. It's
just your passion. You can see you have that genuine love for it. I always remember that. I hate to go back to like school and everything, but even then, like as soon as that was like brought up, it was just like this vibrance came out of you. Like sometimes with angry vibrance.
I was about to say result dependent.
Yeah, I don't even know if vibrance is a word, but we'll run with it. But that takes me on to the next question quite nicely. So obviously, in particular, your channel will be focused pretty much on Scottish football. So why is it that you have such a, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering this, why is it you have such a love for the Scottish game in particular, and why do you want to almost broadcast that more?
You just had a load of Southerners turn off.
They're probably curious too. They're like, why?
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. There's something about it. I think no matter what level you're at in Scottish football, I don't think there's a product like it.
In a good way or a bad way?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
I think what you're trying to say here. I think it undersells itself.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of value there that maybe it doesn't promote enough.
Yeah, it's raw, it's not got any TV money, it's obviously the league as a whole financially does struggle, and this is top tier all the way down.
Yeah.
And I think the passion's a large part of it.
I was about to say, and one thing, and I was speaking about this to a friend, is almost because you look at the Premier League and things like that right now, and it's, there's that Liverpool boys, like the corporates, I can't do an accent, but the guy who's like, it's like that Scottish football hasn't lost that. There's still,
that he's ranting about all the grub and
whatnot. And he's like, it's like, Scottish football hasn't lost that. You've still got the guys, turn up in the piss and rain to go watch Kelty Hertz, or, you know what I mean? Obviously you get that in England, but there isn't that, like, corporate aspect to it. It's still very much working class sort of thing.
It's authentic. And
exactly.
It's not lost its feel. I think, listen, folk would go to either the Old Firm for a day, but I don't think they'd realistically go, unless you've got ties to Edinburgh or Aberdeen. I can't see them going to Easter Road, Tynecastle or Pataudry.
Yeah, St Mirren. Paisley.
Exactly, say no more.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know, that sort of raw feel. And I don't know whether a large part of it's because we're next door to England and we're meant to kind of be seen on a par to them, but that's never going to happen given, I don't want to go into too much detail here. I think the SPFL and SFA have a large part of that, and I think they need to do more to broadcast how brilliant Scottish football actually can be.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking there, because obviously you've got your Perth to Paisley podcast that you do, and you've been doing a lot social media wise, and there's actually quite a good, you and a few other people really trying to broadcast Scottish football now. You've sent me a few videos of other guys, you've got Celtic channels, Rangers channels, like St Mirren channels, things like that. There's a lot more almost people our age trying to take that and almost promote it where the SFA or the SPFL won't. And where do you think that sort of come from almost?
I think that inspiration probably comes from other fan channels. I think Arsenal Fan TV is probably the standout, isn't it, really? Given some of those clips.
I'm a blood clot, young.
Honestly.
I've got him all the team, I say it every single time.
Just, some of them are hilarious.
Yeah.
I think stuff like even the Red Men, I'm trying to think, there's a couple United ones, the United Stands, and Stretford Paddock, even the kickoff. I love watching
Oh,
the
I
kickoff
love
as
the
well.
kickoff, yeah.
Which, obviously, I mean, I'm pretty much a neutral when it comes to the English game. So I watch it and I like folks' different opinions because obviously they have fans from different clubs and what have you. And I think that's a big thing as well in football. Everybody has a say. Like it doesn't even have to be on your team. I think everybody loves giving their opinion, and I guess can appreciate players even if they don't necessarily play for
they
their
enjoy
club.
them.
Yeah,
People, like you look at Maradona, who sadly passed away. Like we've never even seen him play live, and yet even that, you feel that.
Yeah, you're aware of his legacy virtually from day dot.
Yeah.
And even then, I watched the Maradona film, and you're just in awe.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
his career, and look at even Naples, and how the folk in Naples even still love him. Like however many years after.
But then you get people like him, and then you take it down to a much lower level. Like again, if we focus on the Scottish game, not many people are aware of like these clubs' heroes, like yours has, maybe like Robertson and these people, all these people who, like say, maybe didn't win Champions Leagues or all these things, but you are still so emotionally like invested in them.
Yeah, you are.
It's almost like these hometown heroes that you adore that Scottish football gives you.
It's weird. I think everybody's got a sort of cult hero or that favourite player that you like.
Chris Boyd.
Chris Boyd,
I love him.
Oh, Chris Boyd. Even now as a media pundit, he's like top tier. Everybody has that player that they just. Even as a heterosexual male, I'm in love with said person. Like, Rudy Scatchell for me is just he's the man.
I don't think any Hearts fan would disagree with that. The love they have for that man is incredible.
Legend.
Anyway, we'll go on to the next question. So, what is it that obviously we've discussed your love of football, very young age, going to games, very much family thing as well.
Yeah.
But what is it that made you want to pursue the football journalism aspect of it?
I don't want to get too deep here, but I don't think there's anything that I set out to do when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I obviously adored was football, and whether it's writing about it, talking about it, watching it, playing it to an extent, although I'm not very good, and that's one regret that I've got, is that I didn't play properly when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I love it.
It was your passion.
It was. It genuinely it was and still is.
Yeah.
And probably forever will be.
I mean, it was always again, we've been friends a long time, like noticeable, and it was always kind of that idea. It's not something that's especially with the emergence of social media, all these things, like you can get into journalism or almost like punditry without being a famous footballer, but it's never anything that's promoted in school. No. This isn't like a career that you can just apply for and you suddenly get in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's something you almost have to create for yourself. And I still always remember, I was like, you could be a commentator or something. I used to love listening to you chat about football. I used to get so embarrassed whenever I said it, but I stand by it. Yeah. But to see you doing what you're doing now fills me with like so much pride, because it is difficult. But we've had many conversations. Every single tiny brick that you put on this wall is going to take you further and further. And I mean, you may not be like making great money from it now or anything like that, right? But you're still doing what you enjoy, pretty much every day. Yeah.
I certainly for the vast majority of my week. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. Well, you say enjoy when I'm having to watch highlights of like some 0-0 draw on Sports Scene. I'm so
trying to promote the Scottish game. Apart from that game,
no, the day.
No, but obviously it's a lot of graft. Like the thing is, you have a passion and like it's all great. You get to enjoy what you do. But I know from my end as well. Like when you are passionate about something, you almost work like 10 times harder, and it can become very stressful.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not going to kid on it. It does obviously take that effect, but I'd like to think that in the long run it's going to be worth it.
I definitely think it will. But like, was there, obviously you said like in school, obviously you weren't really sure what you wanted to do, but this was always there. I remember, like, again, we had a back and forth. You had mentioned a couple of times to all our friends, that you were looking to go into this, and obviously went to college and done all that stuff. But because like eventually you started getting some traction, and you started, how would I say it? like, what was the moment where it kind of switched? Like, I can actually do this. 'Cause I know, like, self-belief is a very hard thing to come by, especially when you're trying to do things like this. But was there a moment where it was like, you know what, I'm good at this. I can actually do this.
I think my college pals were a big part in it. I'm going to give a wee shout out to Cammy and Jake, but yeah, they
Is it Dunfermline fan?
both Dunfermline fans.
I
which
used
obviously,
to, yeah. I used to play for Dunfermline youth.
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
we can maybe talk about that later.
We'll skip that because it's not about me, but I know all about the Pars. I love the Pars. Anyway, carry on.
But yeah, no, they're both Pars fans, and they were fantastic for me in terms of gaining my experience. Obviously, Cammy has this wee affiliation with Inter Milan and writes for sempreinter.com, which is a big Italian, or rather a big English speaking Inter Milan site, and Jake was great at obviously finding my first sort of bit of experience, whether it be through Sportscrape, and then I've just sort of taken little pinches here and there, any sort of experience that I can get. Cammy put me in the way of sort of this Who Scored job, and obviously when Hearts were in the Premiership at the time, don't want to get into that, but Hearts were in the Premiership at the time, and then obviously I applied and was chuffed that I got it, because it's obviously a big site. I mean, you look at some of their Twitter followers, like Premier League footballers. I think even the first time I obviously scrolled through their followers and I saw Ian Wright, I was like, Jesus, because even my mum, who's not a big football fan, absolutely loved Ian Wright.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And yeah, just any sort of, they were brilliant for me in terms of finding sites for me to apply for, and then obviously I applied, get the jobs, and it's down to them, and any bit of experience is obviously that comes my way is largely down to them, and anything else that I can find. So
also down to your hard work. Leslie, you know,
of course, but I can't thank them enough for obviously
of course.
pointing me in that direction.
But yeah, it's we all at times need that little push from other people, especially when it's a scary direction, because sitting in front of a fucking camera, you know what I mean? Like, again, this is like, but again, an interesting conversation with that is, it is a lot about who you surround yourself with, and surround yourself with people who are interested in the same things, because they can have a large impact on how far you can really go. But that's brilliant that you met people who are, again, like I said, that almost like little nucleus of people who are really trying to push the Scottish game is fantastic to see.
And they're two great contacts who are obviously brilliant friends as well, so yeah,
100%.
gonna keep in touch with them.
Brilliant.
For the foreseeable and beyond.
So, now this one is quite, I don't know how to put this in the words, but if you could even somewhat explain, because I know, like I said, we talked before we even started recording, the level of football fan you are. I would call you a wholehearted, pure football fan. Like, you adore it, like you're the type of fan, your team has a bad result, it affects like your whole week. It's something, for me, I don't understand it, like a lot of people don't, but it's a crazy thing. But I know we've talked a lot about it, but how, if you could try and put in the words how much football means to you, and I'm sure it means to many others, what would you say? To try and explain it to me who doesn't understand it.
I'd say that I'm just a total obsessive.
Yeah.
Like, it is literally, I don't want to sound too cheesy here, but it is literally my everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, even obviously with, I don't want to touch on coronavirus too much, but given the predicament that we find ourselves in, that's the biggest thing I think that's a miss for me.
Yeah.
That sort of, it doesn't even have to be something positive. It could literally be like the rage at an official regarding a decision, or I just miss the buzz of a big goal. I miss
adrenaline.
Yeah, hugging random strangers that obviously that have that same adoration as me, and just that same obsession. Yeah, I think I can remember. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head said, but it is almost like a religion in the same sense that you gather en masse for the same thing, obviously all wanting the same outcome, and you're just begging that they can do everything that they can to get that outcome. It's bizarre, and even like strangers that you become accustomed with. It could be somebody that even, obviously I'm a season ticket holder, so like folk around me that I haven't seen now. Even if I go back, I'm just like, alright.
Yeah,
they'll know exactly that I've missed it for ages, and just
it'll be some buzz when football can come back and everyone's back.
Definitely.
You know,
that first sort of big game, obviously. This will get clipped, but if we get promoted, / when we get promoted,
we're gonna go with when. You gotta go balls to the wall, mate. Come on.
No. when we get promoted, that first sort of big clash against your Hibs, Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, just I cannot wait.
You're probably the one person that does make me miss being so into football, because I almost admire how much you and other fans who I'm friends with adore it, because I can see how much it obviously it brings them especially when you support Hearts, it brings them a lot of heartbreak, but things obviously I don't want to alienate people, but when your team wins the Scottish Cup, when you get all those little victories, especially when you support that smaller stature of club. Not that wasn't to try and compare those, but you know what I mean, especially a Scottish club.
An outsider.
Yeah. To watch it is like I say, there's something almost romantic about it, and that's what I think about Scottish football. Again, I'm no expert, you'll know more than me, but like you said, there's something to it.
There is, and I think even regarding that sort of monopoly that Celtic and Rangers have, there's still an obsessive throughout Premiership, Championship. Even we've touched on the college boys there supporting Dunfermline.
Yeah. That's
obviously their local side, and the players have had a topsy-turvy time, but they're still there through thick and thin in the hope that things will get better, and that they should be, in my opinion anyway, should be a top tier club competing with the likes of us, Aberdeen, Hibs, and your old firm. So
I mean, when I played for them, I was lucky enough I got to go into East End Park pretty much whenever I wanted. I loved that. It's lovely, and it, like you say, it gave me that back of almost connecting with, like you say, with random people and things like that, and it makes you feel part of something. That is a huge thing.
It does, and listen, I'm not gonna kid on like what you said earlier is bang on. Anything else is a bonus. Wins are bonuses, and you're right in the sense that they make the weekend. But I'm not expecting Hearts to challenge for every major honour, so it makes it sweeter when it does happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, back-to-back Scottish Cup finals is great, and whilst we lost both to Celtic, it feels like you're on the verge of something. Whether that's the case, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're sticking around because you want to see if we can get over that last hurdle. Then of course you're gonna
euphoria.
You're gonna want to be there. I'll be crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
I've not seen us win a major honour since I was 13.
Yeah. Wow.
And I turned 23 this year.
Oh, alright, we're not going to go into that. I had a little freak out about that, not that long ago.
Honestly.
Oh god, yeah. But no, you're what you said is spot on. So we'll get on to what I believe is the final question. Right. So moving on to the final question, we have talked a lot, kind of about your past, why you love football, why you're going into this now. But I want to talk a little bit more about your future and kind of what your aspirations are.
Right.
In the sense, look, this may hold you accountable, because you might be able to look back at this and be like, here, I did it. And that's a big thing. But tell me, what are you looking to do and achieve within the game? In an ideal world, what would you love to be doing?
I thought about this question, and I'm not sure that there's a definitive answer, but I think it'd be cliche to say something like present sports scene or sports sound or something along those lines. I thought even A View from the Terrace obviously are now on the TV, and I like watching that every Friday night. And I think they do brilliantly in terms of covering the lower leagues. And I can remember there was an English sort of championship and lower league show, the Football League show.
Oh yeah,
I think presenting a Scottish equivalent of that would be my dream gig, because I love obviously the top tier and seeing the bigger clubs in the country compete, but I still think that there's so much to be had for your lower end second, third, fourth tier clubs. Edinburgh City, for example, have been great for me with the stuff that they've done for me in my career, with interviewing Jim Jeffries when I worked for Not the Old Firm, and I've got a couple of pals that play for City, and it just it's you take almost pride from not knowing these people before, but seeing them go out and doing what you'd have loved to do.
Yeah, 100%.
And I just feel that a Football League show equivalent in Scotland, I know there's going to be obviously debate with regards to viewing numbers, but A View from the Terrace gets talked about all the time.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah.
So maybe there is a demand for it. I don't know whether they just have to present all 4 leagues sort of
In one.
in the one go, that might just
But if they did that, that would bring a lot of people probably more towards it. Like if they
Yeah.
might, not everyone might just watch the top tier and go away, but there might be some that stick around and find that appreciation for the lower tier.
Of course, and listen, any level of football, there's always a standout player
Yeah.
that ultimately earns that move to play in the top tier anyway. I mean, Dunfermline have been the topic of conversation. You need only look at Kevin Nisbet and what he's doing at Hibs now. So, it's all down to chance, and I just think...
Well, I mean, even if you look at the players that drop... I remember when Rangers were climbing up the leagues and Nicky Clark went to Dunfermline,
That's right.
done well there.
And now he's Dundee United's top scorer in the Premiership.
Lawrence Shanklin's made his name, now he's in the Scotland squad.
Had to go around the houses, but he's obviously got to where he's wanted to get to, and will probably push on.
Yeah,
So
exactly. There's a lot, like you say, to come from. And one thing as well with football, again, whether it's junior league or anything, I think you'll agree, is that there's always a story.
yeah,
Always a story. And I think it's about who can best present that story. And I think that's basically what you want to do. You want to present this product, this special thing that is there, and bring it to more.
definitely. Listen, I'm going to be an advocate for Scottish football. That's the dream goal. I think there's so much to be had, and I've also kind of wanted reconstruction as well. And I don't know whether the football leagues or the football pyramid, if you like, if that obviously gets revamped, and then I can present your lower end leagues, I'd still take that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's of a greater benefit to clubs in the long run. But sadly, given the events of Scottish football, I think everybody's so short term, and the old firm money is really what keeps some clubs going. As sad as that is,
It's
to
hard
say.
to break from that.
No, of course, and we're just needing some big TV deal like down south. If we're, I don't know.
But I think all these people like you who are driving this, or at least trying to drive this up, can only be beneficial. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the future. Maybe we'll do more videos together. But it's been great chatting to you. It's been great for me to catch up with you. It's amazing to see what you're doing. And if as a friend, if I can just say anything, is just please keep going, even when it might seem like it's going nowhere. Because you never know what connection you can make or what door can open. And I know you'll do well.
Cheers, mate.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and keep tuning in to see what Adam's got next. I know I will be. Do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.